Good morning, everybody. Tuesday, July 30th, 2019. I hope your Tuesday is off to a fantastic start. I guess you're going to have to endure about a week of post-travel videos. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to be gleaned, a lot to be learned from 10,433 miles and 47 days on the road. Me talking about subjects that have to deal with everything from safety on the road, being transgendered on the road, eating well on the road, hygiene on the road, mechanical ability on the road, especially in terms of gear, and a whole topic just on the gear to carry, and the things that I found essential on the road. I want to talk about the economics, and of course I'm going to be putting a full layout. I use an expense on my phone. It's called Expensify. And probably on a weekly basis, I would gather up my receipts, everything from breakfast to, supplies, soaps and things, and everything I needed on the road, travel, how much gasoline I burned, expenses, food. It's a nice way to categorize things. You take a picture of your receipt and you can pick your category, and it's saved automatically, and it keeps a running tally. I've talked before about the savings, 47 days. The first 6, maybe 7 days were in hotels. I think it was 5 nights in Las Vegas. Then a hostel in Salt Lake for 2 nights, which I consider not really hoteling, but it was a great experience. And then a night in Kearney, Nebraska at the motel, and a night in Omaha. And then from then on, from Battle Creek, Michigan, through Toronto, through Buffalo, through moving down through Baltimore, and going through up to Detroit and Chicago and Milwaukee. It was all about being in and sleeping in the van. And let me tell you again, that was made a tremendous savings to me. Combine the fact that I did not have to put myself in a hotel for 40 nights and take an average cost of about 100, sometimes 125. Some cities like Toronto, very, very expensive. You're not going to get much for less than 150 nights, especially in the heart of tourist season in the summer. And you can see by living in the van that the expenses not taken, the expenses not accrued very rapidly. And as I say, you couple that with great gas mileage on a van, anywhere from 23 to 32 miles a gallon. And you've got a really winning combination for traveling and keeping expenses super low. I thought to myself, eating breakfast and just having a donut and a coffee in the morning was fine by me. Sometimes I would have a bag of chips in the afternoon, but I don't recall ever having a lunch per se. Even on days when we ate around what would be called lunchtime, I didn't have much of a dinner. Having that one small breakfast for about $3 or $4 a day, and then coupled with a $15 to $20 dinner. I'm not talking about the times I've bought meals for many others on the road, but if you just isolate down to my expenses, and you can figure $25 plus a $5 cushion for the odd snack here and there, maybe the cigar here and there. And now you're talking about $30 a day plus gasoline. And if you're on the road, some days I would put, when I was static in Chicago or Detroit or Toronto, I might put 50 miles on the van per day. Other days I was traveling up to almost 1,000 miles. So it can really vary on there. But if you take an average of the $5 for breakfast plus the $20 for dinner, and of course it can be a lot less for one person. But some days were more, like crabs in Baltimore. They weren't cheap, soft crab sandwich. But when you're there, you got to take advantage, and sometimes you got to pay up a little bit to have that experience, especially if it's something that you've missed for years and years. But you take that $5 for breakfast to $20 for dinner, average, and then you put on maybe an average of about maybe 3 or 4 gallons, another $10 a day for gasoline, and maybe incidentals. You factor in the overhead of the Planet Fitness, a little bit of wear and tear. And I think it's a reasonable expectation when you have a van like that, if it's paid for, then you can travel comfortably for about $50 a day, have your bed in the back, be comfortable, and I achieved a high degree of stealth. And I'm going to have a separate video about my observations of RVing and what I call a van versus everything from Class A, B, C's to travel trailers, fifth wheels. And the real big advantage that I had in terms of boondocking over all the other people. But I would say on average $50 a day. Like I say, when I back out the things of meals bought for others, which were quite a few on the trip, I met a lot of people, and I wanted to be a very hospitable person. It's my nature to do that, and I always had a real great experience doing that. But if you back that out, yeah, I would say an average of $50 a day can really sustain you on the road, particularly when you're bringing your shelter with you. Could my cost have been a lot less? Of course, it could have been. I could have bought a package of 10 hot dogs or whatever, and had 2 hot dogs a day, and probably brought my dining expenses down. You can attenuate to ridiculous extremes if you want to travel. But I say if you want to travel comfortably and just do 1 meal a day, I think $50 a day was really a good target budget to do that. Now, I realize some people aren't going to have the ability to come up with that. Some, of course, will spend much, much more than that and be in RV parks. Yeah, I'm not factoring in the micro things, the amortization and depreciation of the van. For sure, the road miles take their tolls. There was unexpected expenses. You better budget for that, like maybe $10 a day for unexpected, maybe $20, $10, $15 a day. You're going to have things like I popped a tire, or I damaged a rim, I needed to have a realignment done in Detroit, I needed to purchase a new tire, I smashed my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus screen. You can see there was new brakes are needed on the van. So I think if you add $10, accumulating $10 to $15 a day, you might bring it up to about $60. If you really wanted to squeeze the economics, you might be able to even do it for $30 to $40 a day. Hey, the cost really dropped radically when I was staying in cities for an extended period of time. That's when you really win. You spend a week in Chicago, you're boondocking, you're eating the food, you're not burning up any gas expenses. Man, now you're really, really winning. You're seeing all the sights. You're getting cleaned up on the daily at a Planet Fitness. You're feeling very healthy, very good, and thank goodness, apart from a little cough that tried to get a hold of me in Detroit and tried to bring me down, I was able to shake through that. Rosie don't do sick, right? And came out of that good. But things do happen on the road. But as far as the economics are concerned, I'm going to be providing a separate video where I lay out all the expenses and probably do it in a pie graph so you can see where the big part of the expenses lay. I'll also talk about some things that I could have done to cut down the expenses even more, so it should be kind of interesting. Yeah, trip videos are just about wrapping up. I have a lot of monthly mail call that's been backed up for 2 months. I did not do one for June. I did not do one for July. There'll also be a separate one for the Rosie McNamara channel. I'm starting to load content on there. It's more of the adult themed channel where I kind of cut loose and let it all hang out a little bit and enjoy myself. And the Rosie Murphy channel will have a few things too. Don't forget also, tonight will be Teeny Weeny Bikini Baking will return. It will be in its new home on the Rosie McNamara channel. I hope I said that right before. The Rosie McNamara channel is where the other The adult-oriented content is going to be. So make sure you join me over there. I will be knocking out a peach pie. We have all of our luscious peaches that were harvested on the Rancho, and it'll be very nice to make them in a pie. So there you have it, the Rosie O'Kelly channel, which you're on now, the Rosie Murphy channel. I tend to do more reviews, restaurant reviews, and things like that, and other topics. And also the Rosie McNamara channel for a little more of the 18 plus fun and adventures. And you'll be seeing a lot on that channel when I get down to Las Vegas in mid-August. You can believe that. So I think some people are sending me a few things, and well, just stay tuned. It could be kind of exciting. I do wish you a happy Tuesday. I will be doing probably a late morning hangout tomorrow on things that have been accomplished on the Rancho so far since my return, and things still yet to do. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you around. And make sure you subscribe. Rosie McNamara, Rosie Murphy, and Rosie O'Kelly right here. Okay? Follow the adventures and misadventures of the Rosie Girl. Thanks, everybody. Mwah.